Okay, so a lot of times people do not know that they are in survival mode. A lot of times people are not aware of what the problem is. A lot of times people are not even aware that they have a problem, right? They like, oh, it's so and so, oh, so and so, something wrong with so and so, right? Well, today in this video, okay, we are going to talk about ways to know that you have a problem, okay? Ways to know that you have a problem. Now, you should know, you should be like, it should be like, something ain't right here. This don't feel right. I don't like how I'm being treated. I don't like what's going on. At some point, something should click in, right? But at some point, I guess we be kind of delusional and the reason behind the problem. Okay, so that's what we're talking about today. Okay, so we're talking about some ways to know you may be the problem. Okay, you just may be the problem. Okay, you looking at everybody else, looking at them talking about, oh, it's such and such fault. It's such and such, it's my mama's fault. She ain't raised me right. She had this, she had that. Well, listen, okay, at this, how old are you? Okay, because at some point we have to stop blaming our parents. They did the best that they could do, right? So now it's your time to do the best that you could do. Okay, so again, we talking about how to know that you are the actual problem, because we love to throw it off on other people. Oh, they the problem, they the blame, this the blame, this why I ain't got this, that's why I ain't got that. But when something good is happening, then it's like, oh yeah, you want to make sure you stand up and take credit for that, right? So let's be clear on some signs. Okay, the number one sign that you are the problem, okay? You're the problem, okay? No one saying you're the problem. The same problem keep happening. Same problem keep happening. It don't matter where you go. It don't matter who you with. You keep running into the same problem, okay? It don't matter who. You can change the name of the people, okay? You can change the places that you go to. But if it's still the same type of issues, that's you, okay? That's a you problem, and you gonna need to check that, okay? That's definitely a you problem, and you gonna need to make sure you check that. That's number one. It's happening everywhere. So, you sitting up there talking about everybody use me. Every time I look up, everywhere I go, everybody just out to use me. Everybody ain't out to use you, okay? It's something with you, okay? Everybody is not out to use you, all right? Or you sitting up there talking about, these jobs always treat me like, they always treat me weird. That's the problem, because your last job treated you weird, right? And the job before that treated you weird, right? And the job before that treated you weird, right? That's you, okay? That's you. Or all these relationships, they all, none of them was nothing. You mean tell me one, none of them nothing? None of them nothing, but the one thing they got in common is you. You need to check yourself. You need to check yourself. Two, you blaming everybody else. Everybody else is always the problem. You always blaming everybody else, okay? You have to look and say, okay, I'm study blaming my mama, my daddy, my uncle, my cousin, this school, that school, the government, like some of this stuff is responsible for some of the stuff that has happened to you. Yes, I grant some of this is responsible, but at some point you have to take accountability. You can't keep blaming people, because if you continue to blame people, you would never change the situation. So you have to make sure that you're not blaming people, because the blame take off of you looking at yourself, and you want to definitely look at yourself, because we in the business of fixing ourselves, not fixing other people. We in the business of looking at us. Okay. Oh Are you always resisting feedback? Can't nobody tell you nothing. Can't nobody tell you nothing. Okay? You feel like you looking like every time somebody tell you something, you either getting defensive, or you either looking at the things that you have or the things that you gain, and you looking at like sometimes people gain things, right? Sometimes the enemy give people things, and people think that just because they got just because the enemy gave them some things, that they know everything, right? Like they may bless them with some money, and they may be like, yeah, or they may bless them with status, or they may bless them with purpose, or whatever it is. And it's really not a blessing. It's really something from the enemy to change up how you act. So a lot of times, you know, people resisting feedback. You resisting feedback because you looking like, I know better than them. I have more money than them. I have a bigger house than them. I have a bigger car than them. I have a better job than them. Whatever it is, you resisting it, and yeah, that's the issue. That's number 3. Okay, you resist feedback, and these are ways to know that these are ways to know that you are the problem. Okay, because a lot of times we think other people's problem. Again, you know, we always thinking it's other people, but it's really us. And again, if we are the problem, we need to check it. You repeated patterns. Number 4 is repeated patterns. You stand in these horrible, toxic relationships. You just, the only thing that's changing is the person's name, right? You study overspending, right? It don't matter. Whatever it is, you use that as, I'm going through this, and you continue to overspend, and then you continue to say, okay, I'm gonna change. Okay, these are repeated patterns. Okay, these are repeated patterns. My mama definitely had repeated patterns. Okay, like my mama, she gonna say, I'm gonna pull myself out of that. I'm gonna pull myself out of that. Pulled herself out of that. I mean, pulled herself out of that and got right back in debt and say, I'm gonna pull myself. I ain't doing this no more. Okay, so those are repeated patterns. Okay, number 5. It's really you. You know, and you need to check yourself. It's probably not them. Why you blaming somebody else? You need to look within yourself, because it's probably you. Okay. Number 5. You feel like a constant victim. Every time you look up, you playing a victim. You're throwing rocks, and then you playing a victim. Okay. You sitting up here, oh, every time it's always me. They always me. I just want to help everybody. I just want to help the world. And they always do this to me. Victim. You avoid looking inward. What? That's how you know you're the problem, baby. You are avoid looking inward. Okay, you gotta look within. Look within yourself. Okay, you can analyze everybody else. I got a cousin, and every time you look up, she could tell you. I'm like, okay, she gotta be delusional. At some point, I thought she was delusional, right? But then I realized, now she only delusional when it comes to her. Because she can sure point out other people's flaws, but she sure don't look at herself. And she sure don't look and say, okay, well, what am I dealing with? But she can point at everybody else. You looking outward. You avoid looking inward. What? You need to know about your own flaws more than you point out. Number 7. You expect other people to fix your life. They not finna fix your life. You can't even fix your life. So other people definitely ain't finna fix your life. You sitting up there talking about, oh, you ain't got to do nothing for me. I ain't asking for this. I ain't asking. You expected people to fix your life, and when they don't, now you mad. That is a problem. That is of a sure sign that it's you, okay? You need to check within yourself, okay? Now, if any of this resonate with you, make sure you text the word built to 630-863-3142. Again, if any of this resonate with you, text the word built to 630-863-3142. Okay, join community. Okay, we are on number 8 of knowing that you really the problem. Okay, this is you knowing that you really the problem. Okay, we want to know if, you know, because some people just don't know that they the problem. You know, some people just be really delusional, and some people just really be looking outside of them and really be looking around like, oh, it's my mama, my daddy, my uncle, my brother, my cousin, my sister, my whoever, you know, and they really just don't be knowing that they is the problem. Okay, so we want to know if we are the problem. We want to check ourselves, right? We want to know this. Okay, so number 8. You keep breaking your own promises. Yeah, you the problem. You can't even keep a promise to yourself. You're the problem. You're the problem. You react emotionally without reflecting. Okay, every time you look up, you just emotional wreck. Okay, you just always emotional. It's always a problem. But yeah, you're not doing no reflecting. You're not looking within. You're not looking to see what's going on with you. You looking outside. And I know we have eyes, okay, and we see outward, right? So we don't usually see ourselves. Usually people see us before we see ourselves, right? But we want to reflect, okay? So we want to be aware of that, and we definitely want to make sure we look at internally, okay? We definitely want to make sure we checking ourselves, okay? We definitely want to make sure before we pointing out and throwing rocks at other people that we are aware of our own behavior. Okay, and the last one we're going to talk about when we talking about number 10, the last one we're going to talk about when we talking about, is it you? I mean, is it you? Is it you? You want to know, is it you? Okay, so the last thing we want to talk about when we talk about, is it you? Okay, are you avoiding accountability? Okay, now this one right here, this is the last one, but you know, this one is kind of tricky, right? Because, okay, so now this is why you have to definitely do reflections, because you want to look inside. You don't want people telling you what to take accountability for. And sometimes people think, oh, you need to be taking accountability for this. And you like, nah, that's not what I'm taking accountability for. You know what I mean? Like, that's not my problem. So you definitely want to make sure you know what you're taking accountability. Okay, so some questions that, before we get to the questions, okay, make sure you text the word built, okay? So you can join a community where we are intentionally building ourselves, okay? Intentionally building better habits, okay? We getting rid of the harmful habits, and we are intentionally building better habits. So if you want to join this community, text the word built, okay? Text the word built to 630-863-3142, okay? We got to be intentional with what it is we are trying to get, okay? Okay, so some questions that you should start asking yourself if you want to know if it's you, okay? If this is you, okay? What patterns I study repeating in life? Okay, you need to ask yourself that. Get serious. Ask the question. What role do my choices play in these outcomes? Okay, this is another way to look at yourself. Okay, like my role. What's my role in this? Okay, I'm study hollering about my mama, my daddy, my uncle, my brother, my sister, my cousin. What am I? What's the role I'm playing? Okay, so we gotta ask that question. What am I avoiding? All right. What am I avoiding? Am I avoiding anything? Reflection, you need to ask yourself that question. What truths have others tried to tell me? Sometimes people try to tell you about yourself and you just don't want to listen. Ask these questions. You need to know for real. What habits are keeping me stuck? All right, so until next time, I will see you. I will see you later in the next video.